Last lesson we talked about expressions and formula, and we got to the word problems. So as I told you, we have to do more exercises on this because it's an important topic which students find difficult pretty often. So let's practice. The best way to perfect something is to practice. Practice makes perfect, right? Okay. So I found another word problem which I think we should solve together. So just a reminder to you, if you want to practice more, if you want to make sure that you know how to solve things, you can just pause the video, right? You can just read this question and you can try to do it by yourself. You can try to work it out by yourself first, and then you can just check your answer and make sure that it's the same as mine. If no, I'm going to explain it anyways. Okay, so we have this problem. I started with a number n, I subtracted 10 from this number and then multiplied the result by 7 and got the same number as I do when I add 18 to n and multiply the result by 3. What is n? Alright, how do we do this? I started with a number n, so let's write what is this n, right? Let's write it. I started with number n. I subtracted 10 from this number, so n minus 10, and then multiplied the result by 7. So multiplied the result of this. You may think that it's going to be n minus 10 and then times 7, but bold math, ladies and gentlemen, actually beat math. You see, if you do this, we will have to first multiply by 7 and then do n minus whatever is here, right? So to make sure that we are doing the right sequence, we have to first we subtract 10 and then we multiply by 7 only after this. So n minus 10 times 7, and I multiplied the result by 7 and got the same number as I do when I add 18 to n and multiply the result by 3, right? So I add 18 to n plus 18, and the result I multiply by 3. So he says that from this action, from doing this thing, he got the same number as from doing this thing. What does it mean? It means they are equal, right? It means those two things are equal. And what do we get? We get an equation which we can solve definitely. So n minus 10 times 7 equals to n plus 18 times 3. Let's figure it out. So first we have to open the brackets. To open the brackets, we have to multiply everything inside of brackets by everything outside the brackets. Like this. So 7n, 7 times n is 7 minus 70 is equal to 3n plus 3 times 18 is equal to 54, right? 3n plus 54. Okay, how to do this kind of questions, right? I think I can make a comment here. So first we open brackets. Second action we have to do is we have to take letters. To one side. Maybe let's write it. Okay, I will try to make it smaller. To one side, numbers. To other side. So letters go to one side, numbers go to other side. Okay, we can move the letter. We can move this letter across the equal sign, but something is going to change about it, right? When something jumps across this wall, which is equal sign, this something has to change the sign. So instead of 3n, which is positive 3n, it's going to become a negative 3n. So we're going to get 7n minus 3n like this equals 2. And then we 70 is also going to make a jump. So numbers, so letters to one side, I mean this side, letters to one side, and numbers to other side, like this. You see, so here what we have left is we have 54 left, and then we have to take 70 also to that side, like this. We take 70 here. 70 was negative, so when it jumps through this wall, changes sign, wall change sign. When you jump through me, you have to change the sign. So minus 70 becomes plus 70, 54 plus 70. So now we have 7n minus 3n, we can simplify it, it's 4n. 54 plus 70 equals to 124. Okay, so 4n equals 124. We can look at it like this. So 4 letters n cost 124 baht. How much is one letter n? We can find out by dividing it by 4. Alright, so we divide both parts by 4, and we get that n is equal to 124 divided by 4. So 124 divided by 4, I'm not sure which method are you guys using. I can show you this method. For me, 124, right? So 1 doesn't come into 4, 1 doesn't go into 4, 12 comes into 4, actually 3 times, so we write 3 here, right? And then 4 comes into 4 one time. I did it quickly, I guess. So the answer is 31, n is equal to 31. That's an answer to this question. And then the third action, of course, is find n. Only 3 steps to solve this problem. Okay, I hope it makes sense to you. Let's get to the next one. What else do we have in this chapter? Again, so one more time, just to make sure. Last lesson, what we did is we learned how to combine, how to simplify expressions by combining like terms, right? We learned the rules for indices and how to work with them. We learned how to use distributive law, which is how to open the brackets and then simplify. And we learned about how to factorize. And of course, we started learning about word problems. So this is actually called how to form equations to solve problems. This is what we're doing, but actually we also need to solve the problem as well. Okay, next one we have a formula. We should be able to change the subject of the formula. Okay, I'll try to show you how it works. Make x the subject of these equations. Okay, let me separate it from here. Yeah, okay, perfect. What do we have? We have a. In a we have y equals to mx plus c. Okay, so the way to do this is we have to use BODMAS, but now we actually have to use BODMAS in the opposite direction. I will try to explain you what I mean. So again, this is our a. Let's move it a bit. So BODMAS but opposite. Actually here it's a BIDMAS. In this book they use I for indices. Sometimes you can see O, like you can see BODMAS sometimes. It's the same thing. It's sometimes it's PEMDAS, like this. It's all the same thing. You see sometimes actually people change M and D in order. You know why? Because it doesn't matter. Because as I told you before, D and M, they have the same order, and A and S also. So you just work them out from left to the right. Okay, so BODMAS, BIDMAS, B is bracket, I is indices, D is division, M is multiplication, then we have addition, and finally we have subtraction. So guess what? If we work with formula, we have to do all these things in the opposite order. So if we do bit mass, but now we kind of turn it to, how should we call it now? Some deep, I guess, some deep, like this. So we start with brackets, and then we do indices, then we do division, like everything in the opposite order. You don't have to remember this. Just remember it's opposite BOD mass. Just remember it's opposite BOD mass, like this. And the way we do this, okay, so we look at this. We look at this. Okay, I'm gonna write it again here. I think y equals mx plus c. Should I use this? It kind of looks better like this, yeah. Y equals mx plus c. So first we have to do addition. So there's plus here. So first we have to get rid of this plus. We have to shoo this plus thing, which is c, right? So what we have to do is, how do we make it shoo? We take it to the other side, right? We can take this c and we can move it to the other side. You can move it here. It was plus c. It's going to become minus c. So y minus c equals mx. Right, again, remember what we have to do is we have to leave x alone. Make x, the subject means leave x alone by itself. Nothing there. Just poor guy x being all alone, feeling so lonely. Anyway, this is what we have to do. And now what do we do next is we have to take m out. And we have to think, how do we take it out? So right now it's a multiplication. It's mx. We write mx, but actually it's m times x, right? So how do we get rid of multiplication? We have to do division. We have to do what is opposite to multiplication. So we have to divide it. We have to divide both sides by m, like this. And this way we can actually cut it from here. And then finally we have our answer. Finally, x is alone on the right side and everything else is on the left side. So x is equal to y minus c over m. Or we can write it like this so that it makes more sense. X equals to y minus c over m. Like this. Okay, next one. Let's do b. Right, I think I have to go to the next page. I'm gonna paste it again. Okay, so in b, what do we have in b? In b we have y squared equals to x squared plus c squared. How do we do this? So again, first we get rid of plus. I will write it again for you. So bit mass. Okay, it's not gonna fit there. Let me write it here. Bit mass, but opposite bit mass. So what we do first is we take away the c, which has plus next to it. So if we get y squared minus c squared is equal to x squared. Like this. And now we have to, you see it's x squared, but we have to use only x. X squared doesn't work for us. It has to be exactly x, nothing else, just x. So what we have to do is we have to somehow get rid of square. Okay, so before, as I told you, opposite to division, opposite to multiplication, there is division, right? Opposite to plus, there is minus. What is the opposite to a power 2? Well, it turns out opposite to power 2 is a square root, or as we call it, root from power 2, right? Just think about it. If we have 2 to power 2, which is equal to 4, then square root of 4 gives us 2 back, like this. So opposite of power 2 is root of power 2. So what we have to do is we have to take root. To get rid of this 2, shu, we need to take root from x. But we can't just take root from x. We can't just take root from one side. It's going to be not fair to the other side. So we have to do the same thing to this side as well. We have to take root as well. So we do y squared. We write it here. So y squared minus c squared equals x squared. We have to take the square root from both sides, like this. And the answer is going to be x is equal to square root from y squared minus c squared. That's it. Okay, and let's do c as well. Let's do c. In c we have y equals x plus c divided by p minus c. Oh, right, that's interesting. That's an interesting one. Let me try to explain it to you. Okay, so here what we have basically is we have a fraction. How do we work with this? We can write it like this first. First you can write it like this, x plus c, basically divided by p minus c. You see? And now what we have is we have two brackets, but one of them has x, so we can't take this one away. So we have to take this thing, we have to take this whole thing, we have to somehow shoo this thing, we have to somehow take it out. How do we do that? Well, it's a division, so to get rid of division, again, the opposite of division, remember, is a multiplication. So what we have to do is we have to multiply both sides by p minus c. Okay, I will write it. So y is equal to x minus c divided by p minus c, and then multiply it by p minus c, like this. So this way we can cut this. Yeah, again, it's going to be not fair if we just multiply one side. Whatever we do to one side, we have to always do to the other side as well. So we do p minus c as well times y, like this. So x plus c is equal to p minus c times y, like that. And we can open the brackets actually. We can open the brackets by doing this, right? And then we will get py minus cy equals x plus c. And of course we have to take away c from x. And the result is going to be py minus cy, and minus c, right? It was plus c. If it jumps to other side, it becomes minus c. So x is equal to, we can kind of rephrase this. We can say that x is equal to py minus cy minus c. That's it. Okay, next one we have expand and simplify the product of two linear expressions. Okay, this is very similar to the brackets thing, so I will try to show it to you quickly. Where is my screenshot thing? Assistive touch. Okay, expand and simplify. Let me try to do this for you. Okay, so x plus 5 times x plus 1. I'm just going to write it because I don't see it right now. So how do we do this? Expand and simplify. Let's say we have this x plus 5 times x plus 1. Okay, so the way to do this, you have to multiply every member of first brackets by every member of second brackets. Let me try to show you the way to do this. So you do x times x, and then you do x times 1. And then you do 5 times x, and then you do 5 times 1. You see? And this way, we multiply every member of first brackets by every member of second brackets, like this. Okay, so what do we get? We get x times x is x squared, plus x times 1 is x, 5 times x is 5x, 5 times 1 is 5. It can be simplified a little bit, and the result is going to be x squared plus 6x plus 5. Alright, and let's do a couple more of them. Is there like a hard ones? Not really. Okay, I will do just with minus, the one which is with minus. So x minus 3 times x minus 8 times x minus 8. So here you have to be careful because it has minus in it, but it's still the same procedure. So you do x times minus 8. Okay, I will write it for you. X times minus 8. Wait, first we do x times x, then we do x times negative 8, then we do minus 3 times x, and then we do minus 3 times negative 8. You see? And then it's equal to x squared minus 8x minus 3x plus 24, which is equal to x squared minus 11x plus 24. Okay, and then we have, I think we had one more example, which was with square. So let's say we have x plus 5 squared. How do we do this? So again, it's not equal to x squared plus 5 squared. No, it's not. This is not right. This is not how you do it. The way to do this is actually equal to x plus 5 times x plus 5. And then you just do the normal thing like we just did. So we do this times this times this. Is equal to x squared plus 5x plus 5x plus 25, which is equal to x squared plus 10x plus 25. Okay, this was about expand and simplify. Alright, so add and subtract fractions. Wow, that's a really long topic. That's a lot of stuff in here. Okay, we're gonna do it. So fractions. It's called algebraic fractions normally. This topic is called algebraic fractions. Next one. And the way to do them is, let's say we have, I don't know, 1 over x plus 1 over 2. We have to, just like with normal fractions, we have to find a common denominator, right? So here we have 2, here we have x. So the common denominator is going to be 2x, like this. We take 2 from here, we take x from here, we multiply them together, we get this 2x. And so again, so here we don't have 2 in here, and here we don't have x, of course. What do we get? We get 2 plus x on top. Okay, this is how you do the fractions. Let me see what they have, what kind of examples. Okay, let's say we do this 5 over x plus 1 over 2x. Let's do that one. 5 over x plus 1 over 2x. How to do this? Okay, so you can notice that actually, x is already in both of them, right? There's x here and x here, so you don't have to multiply anything by x. But this one doesn't have 2 in it, right? So we have to multiply this part by 2, like this. So what do we get? 5 times 2 is 10, and then x times 2 is 2x. So 10 over 2x plus 1 over 2x equals to 10 plus 1 over 2x, which is equal to 11 over 2x, which can be our answer. Okay, let's do one more. So we have 1 over 4 plus d over 8p. Let's do that one. 1 over 4 plus d over 8p. How can we do this? So we do, here we have 8, right? 8 can be actually written as 2 times 4, yeah? Or 4 times 2. 4 times 2 times p. And this way we can see that 2 and p, they are not present here, but they should be, right? So we have to multiply this by 2 and by p. So times 2p. And the answer is going to be 1 times 2p is 2p, of course. So we have 2p plus d divided by 8p. That's it. This is it for fractions. I think we will go more in detail about this later, because this topic, you will see it a lot. And okay, so one more is how to use the formula to find some quantities when you actually have already something for this formula. Okay, so let's do this. Using the formula, S equals ut plus, okay, I know how to do this. Just gonna keep it here. Yeah, like this. Okay, so we have this formula. Using the formula, so formula is S equals to ut plus 1/2 of at squared. Yeah, u is equal to 20, a equals to 2.5, t is equal to 15, and we have to find s. We have to find s from all this information. Well, that's fairly easy, actually. So we just take t and we put it here, right? We take a, we put it here. Oh, and also t, also, you see, it goes also here. We take u and we put it here. So s is equal to, and then don't forget about one important thing, being that if there's no sign here, if there's no sign, if they say ut, ut actually means it's u times t, like this. U times t, right? And this works for everything else in this field. So I'm going to circle it like this. ut means u times t. So in this case, if u is 20 and t is 15, so we have ut equals 20 times 15 plus 1/2 times a, which is 2.5, times t squared, so it's 15 squared, like this. Now, you can just use the calculator for this, or again, we can do it even without calculator. So 20 times 15 is 300, and then 1/2 times 2.5 times 15. So it's 15 squared, right? So 15 squared is 225. So 1/2 times 2.5 times 225. Probably you should actually use a calculator for that. Let me see my calculator. So we do 300 plus 1/2 times 2.5 times 225. And the answer is 581.25. All right. So again, please look at this topic. This is what we did today. We talked about solving problems with the help of equations. We talked about changing the subject of formula. We talked about expanding and simplifying these kind of expressions. We talked about algebraic fractions, and we talked about using the formula. Hope you guys can make sense out of it. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. And bye bye everyone.